Welcome in, welcome in. It didn't go the way I wanted it to go, but welcome in. What's up, guys?
What's going on?
Wait, good. I'm used to having somebody else do that for me. So, welcome, guys. Welcome in so much. I appreciate you guys joining in. I'm Michael. This is a special episode of Second to None, a group and a show that I run with a lot of SEC fans as well. We're here for the biggest game in the SEC for the year, and that's Alabama versus Georgia in Atlanta. This is set up to be very, very special. Tonight, I have the honor of being here with two special guys, Alex and Ron from Alabama and Georgia, and we're going to talk some football. Alex, how you doing tonight, man?
I'm good, my friend. Thank you for having me.
Good. So tell me a little bit about yourself as far as your background with Alabama.
Well, I actually live and grew up in New Jersey, and I'm in New Jersey right now. I had the good fortune of picking up a Joe Namath biography in my uncle's bedroom just over 40 years ago and started flipping through the pages and loved the houndstooth hat and the white shoes and started rooting for them ever since, and it's been a really good run.
Not bad at all. No, it hasn't been a bad run for you guys whatsoever. It's been really, really good. Ron, how you doing, man? Welcome to the show.
I'm doing good. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So what's your history with Georgia?
I'm born and raised. I've been a Georgia fan my whole entire life. My dad went to the University of Georgia, and I only live about 30 minutes away from Athens. So I'm excited to be here.
Man, this is an exciting time in college football. And, I think all of college football, even, everybody's watching this one ball game. Because
all the haters are watching.
Everyone's watching. Everyone's coming out of the woodwork to watch this ball game because you guys are it's the implications of this ball game is major. And it has either both, none of you get in or one of you get in. So this is definitely going to be something that is going to be something to watch for the whole nation. But really, congratulations to you guys. I know Georgia's don't tell me congratulations. We belong here. Georgia says this is what we do. And Alabama says until we come along, and then we'll show you how it's done for real. So, I know both you guys are really nervous about the ball game for sure. I think this is just going to be, this is special, guys, because there's so much riding on the line. And I look forward to getting you guys' answers tonight, seeing your responses, representing your ball club and everything. And once again, just thank you guys for being here with us tonight and everything. So before I jump into our questions for the night, I got one commercial we're going to go to, and then after that, we'll jump right into the commercial. We'll jump into the questions.
Sounds good.
On the College Football Dogs website, you'll find a main page that features some of our biggest and newest stories. Our conference pages for content related to your favorite team's conference. Our team store, where we have products that are available all year long, as well as gear available for a limited time only. Our podcast page, where you can see when one of the 12 plus College Football Dogs podcasts is streaming live on social media. Our subscription page, where you can join our Discord. If you're interested in becoming a contributor at College Football Dogs, email us at info@collegefootballdogs.com. If you enjoy any College Football Dogs content, we really do appreciate any donations you can make by visiting the donate page on our website or scanning the QR code here.
College Football Dogs, for the fans.
On the College Football Dogs website, you'll find a main page that features some of our biggest.
So one thing about this, if you don't take the loop off, it's going to keep going. So that loop was still on. I didn't take it off. But anyway, hey, let's just jump into some questions for tonight. I know you guys are going to be humble. I know you guys have a ton of respect for each ball club. But hey, just let loose. Let's have fun with it. And we're going to do it. So this first question is for both of you. Alabama, I'm going to start with you, okay?
Let's go.
What are the three keys of the game for you guys?
I think the first one is establishing the run with the running back group. So players not named Jalen Milroe. And I think we kind of struggled with that a little bit throughout the year. I love to convert a tough 3rd and 1. We haven't done that throughout the year, and with a consistency that I would like. So I like to see an established run of the running back group. Number 2 is we have to disrupt and pressure Carson Beck. I think he's one of the least sacks quarterback in the country. I mean, credit to Georgia's foundation there, but we have to disrupt what they do and get him uncomfortable. And I think we have the horses to do it. And number 3, play mistake free. I think Alabama's biggest opponent this year has been Alabama. We've had some games with significant amounts of penalties. And if this is one of those 10 penalty, 2 or 3 bad snap games, it's going to be good night. So I think if they play a clean game and bring their best, they can win this game.
Absolutely. I mean, Georgia's just been – Alabama's just been running on the back of Milroe all year. And, he's definitely a different quarterback than he was first week when they played Texas. And to me, that makes a big difference. And I think everyone is definitely taking notice. Georgia, what are the 3 keys of the game for you guys?
Well, I think for one is that we can't give up the long ball at all. We've never really been very good at the long ball. We gotta not let them get past us. Number 2 is going to be just stay in rhythm. We got to stay in rhythm on offense, push the ball down the field. Doesn't matter if we're running, doesn't matter if we're passing it. Just we got to keep the rhythm going and stay disciplined throughout the entire ball game.
I tell you, in a ball game like this with so much on the line, you can really tell a lot by a team how disciplined they are. Because I think the team who makes the least mistakes and causes the other team to make some mistakes, I think that could be the difference between winning and losing this ball game, because it's just so much on the line. So kids are going to be, some of these kids never felt pressure like this before. And everybody who has played on these teams are going to be somewhere talking to these kids about how big this game is. So that type of pressure for an 18 and 19-year-old young man, that's enormous. That's a lot of weight on his shoulders. Absolutely. So next question is for you, Georgia. How do you keep Milroe from beating you?
You contain them. You just keep them from being able to run that ball out. Like I said earlier, you got to keep the long ball down. But I think you can control him more from his passing game than you can his running game, because in the past, the running game's what's hurt us. And, got thinking that the national championship, when they brought Tua in, he was a different look to us. And then Jalen Hurts in the SEC championship game the next year, he was running all over us. So we got to be able to contain Milroe and not let him get loose.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I've watched him play this year, and one thing for sure, a lot of teams have tried to stop him. And when you think you got him, he's just kind of his feet his feet has kept him out of a lot of trouble this year. So and he's only gotten better game by game by game. Absolutely. Georgia, this question's for you. Alabama, this question's for you. How does your defense prepare to stop Brock?
I mean, you have to have a dedicated guy on him at all times. You can't let him out of your sight. I don't think this is a guy that you stop. You have to contain him. Just limit those big plays. Like, you could give up underneath, but limit those big explosive plays that he's so accustomed to doing. I'm sure he's going to be healthy and raring to go, and a ton of respect for that guy. And he's a game breaker, and he's the one I fear the most on that offense, obviously. But again, if you take the approach of, we're not going to try to shut him out. I mean, this isn't a guy you shut out. You just contain him. And if you could avoid the home run balls to him, I think you're doing a good job, and you have a good chance to win.
So if you was the coach, if you had to choose one defensive guy on your team to just pay attention to Brock, who would it be?
I don't know. I think they might throw that true freshman on him and test him early. You talked about the pressure. Maybe Caleb Downs spies him and stays on him. But I don't know if there's a guy in the country that could guard him. So it's going to have to be by committee. It's going to have to be by scheme. And it's really going to have to be limiting all else besides him.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, Georgia has a core receivers, and I think those guys are definitely going to be ready to to play ball as well too. They already know that the teams are Alabama's going to try to limit Brock. So with that being said, the other receivers.
And the real way you limit him is to disrupt Carson Beck. So,
I think so too.
I mean, the real way. I mean, pressuring the quarterback, like I said, was one of the key to games. If Beck is standing there in a recliner having a sandwich, it's going to be a long day. We have to pressure him, and we have to get home too. We need a couple of big sacks.
I think the guys are really going to be up for this ball game to be able to do it. This question will also for you, Alabama.
Yep.
How much extra pressure will be on Milroe if Jace McClellan does not play?
Well, McClellan's a big loss, and I just felt like something was wrong with him all year, and now we learned he was dealing with that nagging foot injury. But I mean, our most explosive runner is Jalen Milroe. Like I said, if you could establish some runs with the running back committee, could get 3 or 4 yards and really stay in third and short. I think you have a really good chance to win this game. But, this is not a disrespect to Jason McClellan. We haven't really run the ball with authority all year, and maybe that was a big part of it. So a lot of what we do has been off of not really running with authority without guys not named Jalen Milroe. So, he is a big loss, but I don't think it's going to have a ton of an impact on what we do. And Roydell Williams runs hard, and I think this is the type of a game where you need a hard runner, a guy that wants the ball a ton of times, that could punish a defense. So I think they have the running back group to get it done despite that loss.
I have one of the comments that I just got right here. It says, is it fair to say that Alabama feasted on a very weak West and might not be as good as they have looked against those teams?
Who's that for? Me?
Yeah.
I think Alabama came into this year. It was a big transition year. 2 new coordinators, new quarterback. Didn't even know who the quarterback was going to be. Milroe got benched. The other guys weren't working out. Milroe comes back in. But you saw a constant improvement out of this team. So, Alabama's a team that you want to kill them when you have a chance to kill them. So, and no one was able to put that dagger in them, and they were allowed to improve week to week. I don't think LSU's an easy team to play. They might have the Heisman Trophy winner. They were avenging the Tennessee game from last year. Ole Miss has a hell of an offense, and they shut that down. They have 3 top 25 victories. I think it's tied for most in the country. So, I think they played their strength of schedule is strong. So, and you're seeing them improve week to week. Now, the one stumbling block was, of course, last week against Auburn, but that's that stadium's voodoo land. I throw out all record books and stats when you get into Jordan Hare. So, any way you come out of that place with a victory is fine with me.
You just take it. Thanks, Chris, for that question. TJ says, "What's up, boys? Good luck to both and wish my Vols were in this game. I'm pulling for Georgia because my cousin is a Dogs fan." What about that?
Yeah, go Dogs!
Go Dogs!
Yeah,
Huh?
it's a big day when the Volunteers are pulling for Georgia.
Oh man! And when I saw this, I was like, I definitely have to put this up because you're definitely not going to hear
because they hate us more than anybody. I
think so. Yeah. So I do you Dustin said, do you feel like Alabama got lucky on the 4th and 31st in the Iron Bowl?
Hell yeah.
Let's just what it is, huh?
I mean, look, if you convert a 4th and 31, there's got to be good fortune and luck. And look, but that ball. I mean, I know they didn't rush him, but that was a beautifully thrown ball and an amazing catch. I mean, they still had to execute that play. I mean, he dropped a dime in the corner of that end zone.
But you don't get any better than that.
I mean, and I don't think I see a lot of the highlights is from the corner of the end zone. They're showing Bond come down with it. That was a beautifully thrown ball. But I mean, of course, anytime you convert a 4th and 31 with the game on the line, you have to have a little someone looking over your shoulder.
You definitely do.
I mean, he had all day to throw that ball.
He did. He did.
I mean, it reminded me a lot of the national championship Tua throw. I mean, it was just. I don't know how you do it, but you did it.
You just get it done, huh?
Yeah.
a Georgia fan says, or maybe a Georgia fan, UGA wasn't sure who they was going in with a quarterback. They have shown their worth. What do you think about that?
Oh yeah, Carson Beck definitely had like all the doubt in the world. Everybody. You had Bobo. You had Bobo coming back in as the offensive coordinator, and Georgia fans don't like that. And I was like, give the man a chance. You got a new offensive coordinator. You got a new quarterback. We're not the team we have been the past couple of years. We're a new team. He showed up and he showed out. And I think he's an excellent quarterback.
Yeah, he's definitely been he's definitely been the guy this year.
Yeah,
I have a ton of respect for him. I mean, same thing with Carson Beck. Same thing, Carson Beck and Jalen Milroe. Like you mentioned at the start of this, about how these are kids.
Yeah,
like sometimes I got to check myself. I'm a 48-year-old guy. Like,
yeah, I know, right?
Living and dying on 19-year-olds, but
right.
I don't think people appreciate enough the fact that Kirby Smart comes in, or Nick Saban goes into your living room to recruit you, and you walk onto these two campuses. You've already accomplished more in your life than 95% of the people critiquing you are ever going to even dream about. So, we have to keep that in mind too.
That's true too. Somebody said a real Bama fan would have been home watching the argument.
That's a friend of mine.
Okay.
we were at a holiday kids event at a Christmas zoo event. I had the game on Hulu Live on my phone, and I was slinging whiskey out of an Alabama canister and probably yelling some things that my wife was not happy about throughout the day. So,
hey, I like to tell everybody that I meet before I start talking to them, I'm an emotional brother. So I'm an emotional brother. So I definitely like you got like this. I want to go to do the family thing, but my team is playing, and it's kind of like, how can I do both? So I completely understand when you out there and you're like, I'm gonna go to the zoo.
I didn't miss a snap.
Hey, I'm gonna watch this game too. So let's compromise with each other. That's for sure. You got to. Let's see. Georgia is going for a 3-peat. I don't know, man. That's
gotta
hard.
Get through it first.
Gotta get through this game.
Get through this game. I would say this game right here is as important as the two national championships in the last 2 years. This game is the game of the century, in my opinion.
It is, because if you lose it, then you could just you're not going to the playoff. Exactly, and I think it's so much up in the air with that. So that is definitely something that people are going to sit back and start watching. Let's talk a little. Actually, what I want to do is we're going to talk a little defense for a second, and put this up right here, and we're going to just talk about this right here for a little bit. So, looking at this, looking at the two defenses right here, the everything really looks. I mean, you can see that. That Georgia pretty much has it taken care of, and Georgia's that team who's doing a lot of leading in it. You can see that actually Alabama has forced more turnovers than those guys will. Let me take this off the screen so I can see all this. Okay, so Alabama has forced more turnovers, but I think across the board, Georgia's kind of winning this, and I think that's what's going to be exciting about just watching these two defenses collide and seeing which defense can actually get the other team off the field sooner than later, and just not let them continue to convert. I think that's the biggest thing right now for those guys. So, I mean, they always say defense wins championships. Well, defense in this case can get you to the championship. How you guys feel about that?
I think you got two national champion defenses going at it, right? Obviously, Georgia's loaded. Alabama has a fantastic defense that's improving, week to week. They're going to be the best defense Georgia's faced all year, and that's what I'm kind of hanging my hat on in terms of the pressure on Beck and trying to get home. They lead Georgia in sacks already, and they're going to have to get a couple more big ones in this game. But you got two defenses that could go take over a game at any time.
Yeah.
Well, for me, my whole life, Georgia's been known for like a defensive team. We had some good offenses through the years, but now I think the focus has changed over to the offense. Our offense is in stride, minus the game we had last week, but overall we have, a really good offensive team. And I remember, during the LSU 2019 season against Georgia in the SEC championship game, our defense was really good, but our offense wasn't running. So, defense definitely wins you championships, but you got to have an offense to counter that.
Absolutely. So since we're talking about defense right here, let me ask this question for both of you. Outside of the big names on defense, give me a name of a player that would step up in this game that maybe people haven't really heard a lot, or just kind of like they kind of get, because you have so many stars. Who would be a big player in this game that would play a big part? Alabama, start with you.
I'm going to go with true freshman Caleb Downs. I mean, Alabama fans know him, and probably SEC fans now, but I think nationally maybe not. McKinstry has the big name coming in, but this kid has been phenomenal. I mean, a true freshman stepping on into these types of environments and games and just performing so well, and he's improving week to week. He's going to be a significant problem for offenses in the years to come. And I think he could get a big interception in this game and turn it.
Okay. Georgia.
Okay, I believe that C.J. Allen is going to have to come in and take over the game for Milroe, take him out of the game completely, because if he does that, it's all over.
So is this a player that does he start?
He's our freshman linebacker.
Okay.
I think he came in for one of our injured players.
Okay.
And he's stepped up to the plate so far. So I think he's going to be a key factor if he's healthy and he's playing. So
that's the unique thing about you guys as a ball club. You guys recruit so high that if one of your players goes down, the next guy steps up and he's just as good as the next guy.
That's
so you don't
motto.
have to, yeah. So there's not a lot of fall off in that area of wondering if this guy is capable. And
Absolutely.
Both of you guys as coaches will have these guys ready to play for sure. You don't
100%.
Smart and Saban is not coming into your living room if he doesn't believe that these players can play at this level.
Absolutely.
And I think that's what's going to continue to make this ball game so special is because of the elite talent that they have. And you're going to just keep throwing players at each other. And it's just going to be an endless night of just a battle and who's going to do, who's going to do what. So I think that's really going to be special as well too. So is that Georgia? So is that a guy that you would just take and spot Miro with?
Well, I mean, I don't know. He's just one of those players that who stepped up to the plate. He wasn't a starter at the beginning of the year, and now he is. And I think it's one of those things where you're just going to have to get him in the game and let him do his thing, because it's always about the next player up.
I think one thing is for sure, it's going to be a lot of pressure. It's going to be a lot of hype. So I think once it settles down and once the players' nerves settle down and they start getting into doing what they do best, then I think that's when we're going to start seeing the best football in the SEC with this championship game.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little about let's talk a little bit about offense. Both you guys have had with so much pressure on the line. How will your quarterback handle the pressure of this game?
I think you're going to see the best Jalen Milroe you saw all year. I mean, the maturation of this kid has been phenomenal. I can't remember a season where I've seen a quarterback improve this much over a course of one season. He's always thrown a beautiful deep ball. Obviously, he could run. He was struggling early with those intermediate passes, but now those are clicking. I mean, this kid got benched and came right back. Like, this is a DNA game. I always say, you don't go to these two programs unless you're wired different. This kid's wired different. And you're going to see, I think he's going to play himself right into the Heisman conversation. And if not for this year, he's going to become a household name after this game and be in it for next year.
Absolutely. And Georgia?
As far as Carson Beck goes, he's been calm, cool, and collective all year long. Like I said earlier, everybody had doubts about him, but he came in and he proved his game. He's not Stetson Bennett. He's completely different than him, and he's going to come in and he's going to be completely cool the whole game, and he's going to do what he does best.
I know at earlier you guys mentioned about penalties and stuff like that, especially you, Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at it, you guys have had 72 penalties with 604 yards of penalties. That's a lot of penalties for a year.
I think 55 of them were in that Texas game. I'm not sure, man.
Absolutely. That was a lot of penalties in that game.
Yeah.
But I think once again, I mean, as you can see the offense, you're talking about two quarterbacks who just starting this year. And if you take both of them and you see what they're able to do with their team, I think this right here is I think that speaks for itself. And I think those guys are pretty special of what they've been able to accomplish so far this year for sure. And I mean, it's just going to get better at this level. So that makes sense right there. So now I got a $1 million question that I think everyone in the nation is talking about. If Alabama wins, should they be in the playoffs?
Absolutely.
Alabama.
100%. They have one of the toughest schedules in the country. They have 3, I think, top 25 wins. If they beat Georgia, which they need to do to have for this question, they will have 4, including the number 1 team. Georgia's won 29 games in a row. Alabama was the last team to beat them and could be the next team to beat them. Under no circumstance could you knock off Georgia after this run and not be in the playoff. And I got one better for you. If Alabama wins a classic, and I'm talking a last-second field goal, Georgia belongs in the playoff too.
Georgia?
Yeah, I completely.
If y'all lose that game, does Georgia fill the spot for the SEC?
I think it's hard to take Georgia out one way or the other. I am a little biased on that, but I try not to be. But like you've been number 1 for 3 seasons in a row now, and I know the past seasons don't matter, but until you're beaten and you're beaten bad, I don't see how you can take Georgia out of the playoff. I don't see it. If they beat us like they did in 2021, then okay, maybe. But like other than that, I don't see how it happens.
Is this between you guys? Is this the biggest SEC championship game that we've had in a long time with so much riding on it? Or can you guys think of another game that was probably bigger than this one?
Well, I'm going to say yes, because usually, I mean, it's usually winning. You win this game, you're in. Well, from a Georgia perspective, that's still true. From an Alabama perspective, I mean, you wouldn't have asked the question if there wasn't controversy around it. So
exactly,
they could go beat the greatest team in the land in the last 3 years and not get in.
That's true.
So there's a lot more riding on that. In that sense, there's been some great SEC championship games. I'm biased, but it's my favorite championship game out of all the conferences. It's usually a good little NFL preview. If you ever want to check the strength of the conference, go look at the draft boards on draft day in the NFL, and that'll tell you this.
It speaks for. I think Georgia's coming for you now.
Yeah,
Those guys.
The whole thing with me is that I think it is one of the biggest games ever played. That's not a national championship game.
Yeah,
because the SEC.
I think so. Yeah.
The SEC. I mean, we're SEC biased, obviously, but like Kirby Smart said, he goes, if you think it's such an easy schedule, call them up, come join the SEC and come play our schedule.
Yeah.
And it's not easy. Georgia went like 7 games in a row with SEC games this year and came out undefeated still. And it's not an easy task to do. I don't care what, I don't care who you're playing. Because every week that you're playing an SEC team, you're playing a rival.
I got you.
Absolutely.
So I got a question that I didn't actually show you guys. How do you really feel about each other's team?
You go ahead.
Don't be humble. Don't be humble. Be real.
I have always had a different perspective. I mean, except for Auburn, which I hate.
Yeah.
I mean,
I got you.
So I mean, I don't live in the South, so I have a different perspective because I don't live this. I don't live it. with friends and family, and I don't have that
Absolutely, yeah.
contentious neighbor thing. I mean, I root for all of the SEC teams out of conference always. One, for a selfish reason, it strengthens our schedule, it strengthens our conference. It's paving the way for this conversation we're having now. Does a conference get the benefit of the doubt? So, like in a bowl weekend, I'm rooting for the SEC team all the time. I mean, I love Kirby did great things for Alabama, and I would be a fool to say I'm not a Kirby Smart fan. So I have a ton of respect for Georgia and that program, what they're doing. But all good things do have to come to an end.
Absolutely. How you feel about Alabama, Georgia?
I love it. I love it. No, I highly respect Alabama. I mean, they've been the standard of college football for over a decade and a half.
Yeah.
Since and it even goes back before all that. And so, I respect Nick Saban as a coach, and A game versus A game. I think Georgia's going to take it. But that's me.
We're gonna save it for just a couple of minutes. Absolutely. I guess this is when you can say game recognized game. I guess.
I
guess that's what it is.
In my opinion, they're the two best teams in the country. Regardless of the one loss against Texas, in my opinion. So,
right. So, who needs this game more, Nick Saban or Kirby Smart?
I'm gonna take this one first. All right.
Okay, go ahead. Absolutely.
I'm going to say Nick Saban needs it more. And the only reason I say that is because he's on his way out. I don't say he's on his way out. We don't know when he's going to retire. But after what David Pollock said to his face in the national championship game, he wants it more than anybody else in the world. I promise you that, other than Kirby Smart. So yeah. I think Nick Saban needs his game more, but Kirby Smart, he's on the rise, and it's just the way it is.
So I do agree with that David Pollock comment. There's no way Nick forgot that. I'm sure he thinks about it every day. I'm going to say Kirby for the reason of Nick has had the career. He's established. He doesn't have to coach another game in his life to prove anything to anyone. Kirby doesn't have to prove anything either, but it's a legacy game.
I agree.
Nick already has the legacy. Kirby's trying to build what Nick has built. He's done a fantastic job, man, the record that they have since he's been there. But it'll be another feather in his cap. I mean, Nick doesn't need a feather in his cap, so I don't know if anyone needs this game to be considered a great football coach and recruiter. But I'll say Kirby Smart needs it more because he's still building that legacy.
Absolutely. I got a question that I think a lot of people want to know. It's from Dustin. If Saban is Saban gone if he wins the Natty this year?
I don't think so. I think he's still got a lot left. I think Miss Terry might throw him out of the house if he was bored and stomping around the house. I think he's got a lot of life in him, and he's got a real competitive fire, and I think he's got more in the tank.
Absolutely.
I think we all want him to be gone, but I mean, it's his time frame, whenever he chooses to step down. We've had coaches in the past coach until they're in their 80s, so you never know. I don't know what else to say about that.
I think it's going to be a sad day. I'm not a Bama fan, but I think it might be a sad day not to see Saban on the sidelines anymore. I think he just has that. He's that dude on the sideline that people look and then love when the cameras go on him when he's angry.
Well, I would like to be the team that beats him so bad that he decides to retire.
Well, I think that's a good question too. If he loses, will he retire? If he loses this ball game, SEC championship,
100% not. That's a definite no.
I don't think so, but it depends on how bad the butt whooping is.
I guess so too. And I think I'll be like, look, man, you win. I'm done. You got it. It's your show now.
Here's the baton.
I'm passing it to you. I've had enough of this. Hey guys, I'm too old for this.
Yeah, right.
You 19-year-olds, you guys can go because we didn't win this ball game. Let's see. This will be the biggest test for Carson Beck. Will Alabama's defense be able to create enough turnovers to get the win? Do you think Alabama can turn him over enough?
I do. This is not a knock on Carson Beck. He's just been the benefactor of a ton of time back there. He's been able to pick and choose where he goes with the ball. I mean, he's extremely accurate. Like I get if you don't get that pressure on him, it's going to be a long day because of his accuracy. But I do think they have the horses. I think that front line and that linebacking core could create a lot of pressure. You're talking about Dallas Turner getting in there a few times. And it doesn't have to be a sack. It could be a disruption. It could be a tip pass or whatever. It's a couple errant balls. Make him a little skittish in the pocket. I mean, that has to happen. So I'm going to say yes, that will happen.
You think Alabama's defense going to rattle him?
No, I don't ever think that.
He said,
I think
that.
I mean,
Classic, dude.
I mean, this is his time to shine. You know, he's kind of like right now he's living in the tales of Stetson Bennett, and he's about to show who he really is this Saturday.
This is a funny comment right here. Yeah, I'm ready for Saban to be gone. Only one win in 15 years. I'm about over.
Hey, I agree with that statement.
Well, if he goes, hopefully he convinces friend Kirby to go too. Maybe.
Exactly. Right. Let's go fishing together. That's funny, man.
We'll do that in the offseason.
So someone wrote and said Bama wins and they both wind up in the playoffs. That would be ideal. Me as a SEC guy, like you guys asked me the other day, who do I want to see win? And I don't want to be biased because I'm doing the show, but in reality, I want to see Georgia win because I want to see the SEC champ. I want to see the championship stay within the SEC.
Yes.
And if Bama can win and you guys both get in, hey, I take that too. But I just, as an SEC diehard fan, I want to see the trophy stay in the SEC for as long as possible because SEC is the best conference in the world, and no one will ever be able to tell me difference with that.
Ever.
Absolutely. Ever.
If they win a close game,
years.
Yeah, there you go.
If they win a close game, if Alabama wins a close game, they obviously have to be ranked ahead of Georgia because they would have just beaten them. And if some of the other teams went out, I could see them going Michigan 1, the Washington, Oregon winner 2. I could see them putting Alabama 3 and Georgia 4.
That would be that would be beautiful, man.
And we'll do it again for the national title.
That'll work too.
Yeah.
I think Alex has a fan here. Let him have it, Alex. Roll Tide, dick upset. Roll Tide.
Hey, that spread's getting bigger. I think it went up to 6 now.
Oh wow. Okay. What's the weakest part of your defense, Ron?
I don't know. I mean,
he said, "Look, I don't want to be humble." He said, "I want to be humble," but since you asked the question, none of it's weak.
I mean, we do struggle against the long balls. We always have, and we've had some teams that they throw the long balls on us. I mean, of course, we're like Curry said, if we can get punched in the face and keep going, then we're good. But we just can't allow it to keep happening, and and it's been one of those things in the past that's all. Listen, I'm a realistic Georgia fan. I've seen it my whole life. We're on top of our game for the first time. I was born in '80, so that was the first national championship. Didn't get to experience it, and then what was it? 41 years later, we finally get the first one. I mean, so I've been dreaming about this my whole life. So I've seen it up and down like this my whole life, and now we're finally on top, and it feels good. And
good.
So I don't think there's much of anything that we gotta do differently. We just gotta play our game, do what we do, and let the best team win.
All right, Alex, what's the weakest part of your defense?
Same. I mean, if you look over the whole history of this long decade and a half Alabama run, when they did lose games or were challenged in games, it was the accurate deep ball that look at the quarterbacks that have beaten them and what they were able to do. So the accurate deep ball is always given this defense fits. I love this defense right now. I think it's one of the best in the country. I think they're clicking and improving. They are tremendous run stoppers, except last week against Auburn, but I throw out whatever happens at that stadium. Doesn't count. It's the accurate deep ball for Alabama.
Okay. Wow. You gotta.
And I think, with two good defenses, traditionally you would say low scoring game. And I do think that in general, but I think there's going to be a spot in this game where you see a couple big bombs back. They exchange a couple of big home run balls. I could see that, a couple of 50-yard passes back and forth.
Me as a fan, I don't want to see a blowout. And I know you guys probably like, I don't feel like going down to the wire. I don't have the heart for this. I don't just blow this team out. But me as a fan, because I know one of the SEC teams is going to the playoffs. I hope. So to me, like I want to see, like I got the ball last. I'm getting ready to score, stop me, or I'm going to win. So of course, Alabama, you guys coming off that high. So I don't know if your fan base could deal with that right now, just a week later. Because that's one of those things where I watched some videos on YouTube and I seen all the Alabama fans rejoicing after the win, watching it and then celebrating. And like I told you guys before, this is a disclaimer. I'm a sensitive brother. I almost cried. I was like, you know what? I like, hey, that's cute.
I was crying 2 plays before that happened.
I know, right? So
I think I was pulling for Auburn for the first time in my life.
I mean, so I think a lot of people were. So,
but at the same time, I didn't want Alabama to lose and be upset for this week's game either. You know what I'm saying?
That's true too.
So
yeah, I guess that's because they was going regardless if they won or not. Right. Yeah. So I'm like, I'm a Kentucky fan. Why are you crying for? Like, hey, get it together, dog. So, absolutely. Someone says, Dustin says that this right here will probably be at Michigan, FSU, the winner of Georgia and Alabama, Ohio State, Oregon and Washington, and Texas knocking at the door. This is going to be interesting. There's been each year people are watching who's going to get in for that selection Sunday. But if Bama wins, I think this right here may be the biggest, most watched selection show that we've ever had. Because now we're going to see what is the committee going to do. Will they put an SEC team in, or will they say nobody's going, give it to somebody else? That would be interesting, and that would hurt my heart.
Well,
yeah, I think. Go ahead.
Well, I said I've been talking about it all day today, and I have a buddy I talk to every day, and we got to talking about it today, and it's like, I don't know how, a one-loss Georgia to a number 8 Alabama, the team of the decade, by a close game, they get out. But at the same time, I also look at all the scenarios that can be played. And it's like, I don't know. I said, I hate it for the committee. I said, if Georgia loses, I hope all the top 4 loses and just somebody else is in altogether. And it's a terrible championship game.
That is,
that's my opinion.
I can't remember. I don't think there's been a year, at least I can't remember, where the top 8 hasn't shifted all of November. I mean, until Michigan, Ohio State, but Ohio State remaining in the top 8. The top 8's been the top 8 for the entire month of November. I can't remember a year like that. But yeah, they have a dilemma on their hands, and I think they create their own dilemma. I think they love this drama and talk. It gets you to check into the show. But I mean, I don't know what they're thinking. They talk, they say the best 4 teams, then they talk about the most deserving 4 teams. But like Ron said, if Alabama beats Georgia and they have 4 top 25 wins, including ending a 29-game win streak, and their only loss was in week 2 to another top 10 team, which if Texas wins, they will be that. I don't see how you keep them out.
Yeah, I don't know. I hate it. I think Ohio State deserves to be in. They only lost against a number 2 Michigan. I don't know how they're not even in the equation, but they talk about they're out altogether because they're not playing in their championship game. So I don't know. I don't like what's going on because as a fan, it's like, if Georgia gets beat, then we're out. No, that can't be possible.
It's going to be. It's hard to make everybody happy.
This is actually the perfect year for the 12 teams, but it doesn't start.
That would be perfect because then, but you know what though? I mean, yeah, you're right about it, but I don't think this game would be as special.
It would not.
If there was a 12-man playoff this year, I think it'd just be. I don't want to use the word just another SEC championship game because it's kind of like we in the championship playing for a natty. If we win, okay, don't nobody go out there and get hurt during this ball game. Save it where we can win something that really, really matters. But next year we won't have that choice. The SEC championship, maybe Kentucky will make it next year.
Well, everybody, be careful what you wish for. Everybody wanted the expanded playoffs until more SEC teams get into the expanded playoffs.
I can't wait for Oklahoma and Texas to come in here and to shut their fans up and it's like, y'all really aren't that good after all.
Yeah, there you go. We're going to show you big boy ball. That's for sure. Yeah, we'll go right here. So, guys, I think we had a really good show.
Yep.
You guys came over here with a lot of energy and everything, and you guys have been real cordial towards each other, and you guys have been friendly. So, my last question before we actually close out
Here we
tonight
go.
is this question right here. You, without being humble, why will your team win the SEC championship game? This is a 30-second face-off. You get 30 seconds to actually answer this question. Hold on 1 second, guys. I should have got to get my phone ready for this. And stopwatch. What reset? But so I'm definitely interested in hearing. So Alabama, you're the number 8 team in the nation. I think Georgia has the right to go last to rebuttal or whatever they need to say for this. And but on my go, it's your chance to tell Georgia and your fan base and Georgia's fan base on why Alabama will win the SEC championship game. Ready, go.
I don't care where Georgia is right now. Alabama's the standard. They have been for a decade and a half, and Georgia's going to find that out on Saturday afternoon. To be the man, you got to beat the man, and Alabama was the last team to beat them. They're going to be the next team to beat them. Pressure Carson Beck, force turnovers, unleash dual threat Jalen Milroe. You're going to see the best Jalen Milroe. Don't forget about our secret weapon, the best kicker in the country, Will Reichert. 3 field goals for Will, 30-24 Alabama. Jalen Milroe enters the Heisman conversation. Roll Tide.
Perfect.
Oh,
that's deep.
right.
Hey, now that's a guy who sounds like he's ready for Alabama to take this game right here for real. That was spot on. All right, Georgia, you have 30 seconds to tell Alabama, your fan base, and everybody out there why Georgia will win the the SEC championship and roll and continue their quest for a 3-peat. Ready, go.
Well, I'm not one to predict scores first and foremost, but the only thing I got to say is Kirby Smart. Remember who was there in Alabama to help them win all the championships? He had 4 at Alabama. He's got 2 at Georgia. Maybe Kirby was Nick Saban's secret the whole time. I don't know what to say other than that. Go Dogs.
There you have it. And just like that, man, the SEC championship is only a few days away, man. For real, what's it say? So that was, guys. I'm telling you, this was awesome, man.
It was awesome. Yeah.
I think you guys.
I appreciate for being here.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Some of the guys like Dustin and stuff like that. Alex, do you mind giving your score prediction one more time? I know you don't give scores, Ron.
I got 30-24 Alabama.
There you go. We can do that. That sounds like a close game anyway, which is what, a 1 touchdown game, 1 possession game. So hey, I take it. Dustin, he's my Tennessee rep, and he's really good at stuff like this too as well. It's a lot of people who actually helped me get this together. Dustin, Chris, George, Cody, Hunter, which is the Dogs presidents. All of these guys have given me a platform to talk football, and it has allowed me to bring you guys on. Cody, he put these graphics together, everything for the graphics. Cody did it, and I'm just grateful for you guys coming on here. It's going to be one heck of a ball game Saturday afternoon, and the nation's watching because they're going to be able to tell who's going to be in and who's not going to be in. So I'm pretty sure everybody's rooting for Alabama. Everybody's rooting because they might cancel both of you out. So definitely, and Ohio State's definitely rooting for Alabama. So Georgia, the weight of the world is on you.
Yeah.
No pressure.
No pressure.
Just do it. He said, "Hey,
no pressure.
Georgia, just do what you do, okay?
Just do what we do.
Just do what you do."
Kirby Smart's going to have his team ready, and it's ball time at 4 p.m. on Saturday. So I'm ready.
Absolutely.
Go Dogs.
So I didn't usually I do this, but because I didn't, everything started off bad when I started the show. This is the second to none broadcast right here. Please like, share. We're on Facebook, on Twitter, on YouTube, on TikTok as well too. If you like, please, all this right here. Appreciate everyone who came out to watch this tonight. Thanks, Ron. Thank you, Alex. You guys are awesome. You guys jumped in and you guys helped me out here. So I'm extremely appreciative of this. During the playoffs, ever who makes the playoffs, I will be bringing those 4 teams the same way I am tonight, and we'll sit down. So you, ever which one of you guys is in the playoffs, you guys have an open invitation if you guys want to come and rep your team for the playoff as well too. I would love to have you. So once again, second to none, I'm Michael. This is Ron representing Georgia, Alex representing Alabama, and we're looking forward to the SEC championship and keep doing what we're doing. Thank you, and you guys have a great day.
Roll Tide. Thank you.
Go Dogs.